Now to the horrific images, the deadly fire just across the U.S. border in Mexico at a migrant detention center not far from El Paso. At least 40 people killed. ABC's Maria Villarreal at the border tonight.
Tonight, Mexican authorities investigating a massive fire at a migrant facility near the border that left at least 40 dead. Disturbing surveillance video being investigated by authorities appearing to show men locked inside a Ciudad Juarez detention center as the room fills with smoke. Mexican President López Obrador says they believe the fire was ignited Monday night by some of the migrants who feared deportation, saying the men propped mattresses against the shelter door and set them on fire.
Muy triste que esto.
Obrador adding they did not imagine that it would cause this terrible misfortune. Mylar blankets covering the dead, 28 seriously hurt, Viangeli's husband among them. And tonight, many still waiting for answers.
Yesterday at 12 is the last time he heard from his brother.
You guys, this is so sad, what happened to these people. But as the story develops, there is video showing that some of these men who were all being held together in a cell, overcrowded, some of them lit their mattresses in protest. So that is how the fire started, according to some outlets. According to Associated Press, across Latin America, migrant blaze families left reeling. The last Ana Marina Lopez heard of her husband, the 51-year-old Guatemalan migrant, told his family that he was being detained by Mexican immigration agents at the U.S.-Mexico border. That was 2 days before a fire in an immigration detention center in Ciudad Juarez claimed the lives of at least 39 migrants and left more than 24 injured. The number is now up to 40 of dead. Then his name appeared on a government list of the fire victims, but not specifying whether he was among the dead or the hospitalized. That has left Lopez and her daughter back in their small western Guatemalan town, clinging to hope that he may be alive. And they aren't the only ones. As images of the devastating blaze consume news broadcasts and social media, families scattered across the Americas are reeling in agony, and they await news of their loved ones. As they await news of their loved ones, the pain and uncertainty felt by families underscores how the effects of migration ripple far beyond the individuals who embark on the perilous journey north, touching the lives of people across the region. In Juarez, Mexico, a sister waits for news of her Venezuelan brother who's been sedated and intubated in a hospital. In Honduras, families sit stunned after watching video of guards hurrying away from a growing cloud of flames and smoke in the immigration detention center. And in Guatemala, Lopez cradles a photograph of her husband in a cowboy hat, unsure if he is alive or dead. This shouldn't be able to happen. Migrants are people. They are humans, Lopez said, her voice shaking. What I ask for is justice. They aren't animals and can't be treated as such. Little is known about the cause of Monday night's fire, but you guys, since then, this article came out on Tuesday. Today is Thursday. Since then, it is said that the fire was caused by mattresses posted up against the bars and set ablaze by some of the migrants. So, you know, yeah, and there is a video showing the officers running away from the fire. And so this is another Associated Press article from yesterday. After migrants in northern Mexico placed mattresses against the bars of their detention cell, and set them on fire, guards quickly walked away and made no apparent attempt to release the men before smoke filled the room and killed 38 men, surveillance video showed Tuesday. So you guys, the numbers bouncing between 38 and 40. But so far today, I've read several articles where there are 40 dead. Hours after the fire broke out late Monday, rows of bodies were laid out under shimmery silver sheets outside the immigration detention facility in Ciudad Juarez, which is across the U.S. border from El Paso, Texas, and a major crossing point for migrants. Authorities originally reported 40 dead, but later said some may have been counted twice in the confusion. 28 people were injured and were in delicate, serious condition, according to the National Immigration Institute. At the time of the blaze, 68 men from Central and South America were being held at the facility, the agency said. The institute said almost all were from Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, and El Salvador. In the video, two people dressed as guards rushed into the camera frame, and at least one migrant appears by the metal gate on the other side. But the guards did not appear to make any effort to open the cell doors and instead ran away as billowing clouds of smoke filled the structure within seconds. Wow, what a coward, huh? Cowards. Were they really cowards? I think they were. And also evil. They knew if they didn't open those doors, those men would die. And I guess they didn't give a care. That is my opinion. Man, first of all, how stupid were some of these guys who set those mattresses on fire? That fault lies with them first and foremost. And they didn't care. I guess they thought, okay, they're going to open the doors. But they couldn't be sure of that. And look what happened. So it lies with them first. And secondly, the guards who ran away, something should be done with them, because innocent people who had nothing to do with setting those mattresses on fire died and were injured and could die, because like it said, they're in serious condition. Ah, man, what a sad, sad story. Yes, these people, they cross the border. They come into, the United States, and some of them stay in Mexico. And there's just a huge hatred for them. But ask yourself, how would our cities, our states thrive? Because these people work their asses off. When you see new buildings come up, at least where I live, the construction crew is mainly made of Hispanic men. And they are doing the most dangerous parts, like the roofing of huge buildings with, like the roof just completely angled where they have to wear harnesses, and they're hanging off the sides of buildings, working these dangerous jobs to try to make sure that their family back home is not starving. Some of them come here, they make money, and they go back to their country of origin, and they buy land, and they live there. They're able to feed their children and their, parents or whoever they're taking care of. And some of them want to stay in America or Mexico, and eventually they get their green card or they become U.S. citizens. And yes, some bad guys do cross the border. I said it in one of my other videos. When we lived in an apartment, there was a guy from Honduras who lived below, and he played music almost 24 hours a day. The only time the music wasn't on is when they went someplace. He did not work. We had to get up, especially my husband was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And we had just had enough. So my husband went down and asked him to turn the music down. He turned it up instead and started speaking loudly so that we could both hear him, talking about when he cut a man's feet off and hung the feet around the man's neck. And we believed him. You know what we did? We packed up and we moved out. Because even the landlord was afraid to tell this guy anything. So yes, bad guys come across and they need to be sent back. But not every migrant that comes across is a damn thug, a murderer, a hard R word, rapist. Some of them are just coming here so that their families don't starve, to get a startup, to get money and go back and make a life for their families. This was a sad, sad story, you guys. And yes, it will ripple, because now those men who have passed away, they can't provide for those families, which was the reason that they left. Their poor little children are going to starve. They already come from severe poverty. And now it's going to be worse for them. What will happen to them? So let's not only think about, well, they shouldn't have been trying to cross illegally. Imagine what you would do to get your family, your children, your parents, your sisters, brothers, whomever you love and care about, to safety, to provide for them. They're not animals, they're human beings, and they're just like us. They love, they hurt, and they want, and there are bad ones in the bunch. So let's keep these families in our prayers and just hope and pray that the family members that are left behind don't suffer because of this, which they probably will, because lots of times the women only take care of the children and the men go out and make it happen. So what is going to happen to them? Let's pray for them, you guys. This world is so crazy and so evil. Let's talk about this in the comments.